Hi everyone, my name is Choy and I'm a director at Curious Ingredients. We're part of a global group called Quality Sprinkles, and our focus is to manufacture and the distribution of 100% natural, free from confectionery, in particular to the baking industry. The purpose of Curious Ingredients, we offer customer flexibility and more accessibility to our products without the MOQ. Traditionally, when people order from the Far East, there is a requirement to order, for example, a container. And the purpose of Curious Ingredients is to offer more flexibility. What I like to talk about today is selling into a global market. Conducting business globally has become an essential part of an overall strategy for many businesses. The chances of exporting successfully depends also the willingness to learn about the market that you are in. Taking a 360-degree approach, have a look at your product from different angles. I found it to be, it helps you understand what your competition may be. If you look at it from the market trends to consumer trends, if the market is growing or declining, to look at your product from different angles and ask the questions what other people may ask. I find that that has helped Curious Ingredients, deciding whether you're going to be selling to consumers directly or to other businesses. That can also give you a guideline as to how you want to establish your company. I've mentioned here about competition. It's important to understand and learn from your competitors and then focus on what it is that you want to do. Be innovative with your ideas and try not to let things disrupt you too much that will take you away from your goal. I find that when we look at competitors, they're a good guideline, but it's also important to know what it is that you want to do with your product. Unique selling points. What makes your product different? What's going to make other customers choose your product? If you feel that your market has been quite saturated, look at it from a different perspective. What other services can you provide? It's not necessarily always about pricing. Focus on the positive things that you may have more flexibility with. You can change, you can negotiate. Building company presence, a marketing plan. Some people say business plans are very important, and which they are. I find that the marketing plan within a business plan has helped us with Curious Ingredients. Be sure to have a bold vision, be as daring as you can, write it down. There's always something very powerful about writing things down. They will help immensely when you are working and you're executing and you may have diversions. So if you write it down, I feel that it's there to just give you a reminder and guide you to where you need to go. Consistency. I always use McDonald's as an example. Not everyone may agree if it's healthy or unhealthy, but people go to McDonald's because they know what to expect every time when they order milkshake, fries, a burger. It's that consistency, and here I emphasize on not just the product itself, from the font, the typography that you use, to the service that you provide. It's all going to be part of a brand. If you aim for consistency, people feel that they can rely on you, they can trust you, they're more likely to come back and buy from you. And also having an open mindset when you're writing out your marketing plan. Things may change, and when they are, be adaptable to the change, have the flexibility. It can be quite overwhelming, but having an open mindset allows you to sometimes steer you back to where you need to be. Yeah. The importance of exporting. Whether you manufacture your products or you repack the products and put your brand on it, exporting can and it should increase brand awareness. I've mentioned here to come out of your comfort zones, and that's because sometimes when we look at competitors, I've mentioned it just now, we can get easily distracted. They're there as guidelines, inspiration, but find out where you want to start from. Where do you want to start with exporting? Is sometimes necessary to start a trend yourself, to go into a market where somebody else may not have gone in, to do something that others may not have done before. In one of my earlier businesses, we launched a company based on one single product. It was trending currently in the States. It hadn't been introduced into the UK yet. People hadn't heard about it. And over the course of 18 months, the product had become more popular through word of mouth with bloggers, social media. So sometimes when you believe in your product, even when people are saying to you, think twice before exporting, if you do your research and you feel that there is an industry for it, go for it. We didn't do much marketing with our first business, with the one product. It was purely through word of mouth and magazines and social media. So that's what I mean about coming outside of your comfort zone. Okay, so why exporting shouldn't be ignored? These are just some numbers. Top 10 export markets for the UK. From the list of 10 countries, 8 of them are based in the EU, US and China also being in the top 10. So the point I really would like to emphasize is to strategize very carefully. Select carefully of who you want to sell to, where you want to sell to. The market is there. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming. How are you going to choose the right market with the funds that you have and make that work for you and to maximize that opportunity? Really do the research, learn about the different regulations which the countries that you may want to export into, learn about their rules. With regards to QS ingredients, it was about food. So there's the labeling, to the language that you use, even to the way that things are packaged. And then hopefully that would give you more of a realistic guideline and expectations. The decision to export, I have found that to starve a little when working on a new aspect is better than to struggle with indigestion. And what I mean by that is whether you're a new startup or you're going to make a decision that's brand new to you, sometimes you can be so full of information that it's difficult to focus. So I do believe that you be selective when you're thinking of exporting in different countries. they will have different tax regulations, import duties for your customer versus your export duties. Be mindful of these areas, because if you're not mindful of them or even be aware of them to begin with, it could lead to problems later on. Market segments, I've mentioned here, where in the chain of sales is your target customer? How will you find them? How will they find you? How do you filter them? So with QS Ingredients, we are business to business. However, our clients' customers could ultimately buy from us. Whilst this is possible, we have a strong value of fair practice. And by that, I mean, even though our customers could buy from us, everyone works hard to build their own business. And we believe that it's important to be fair, because a manufacturer could very easily come in and try and take more of a market. Then what about the other smaller companies that are building? And how we do that is we filter by having different tier pricing. And that could be an example or guideline for others. But that's how we filter our customers through the different tier pricing. Like I said, everyone's working hard to build their business. And we find that having clear, transparent information helps. Another decision when exporting is balancing the growth. Not all countries will give you the same return. Try and lower your cost units. Try and lower your costs as much as you can. To make your product more competitive, sometimes you can maximize even your manufacturing process to your logistics when you're shipping things. There's other ways of reducing and lowering costs, not necessarily on the product itself. Yeah. UKTI, they're here. They've helped many thousands of businesses to achieve international success. Don't be afraid to ask for help where you need it. If you sell directly to consumers, eBay and Amazon are good way of introducing your products globally, but be mindful that these companies will charge you for a service. So when you offer it to them, to factor that into your export plan. Other things to consider in your export plan are listed here, or things that you feel may be a barrier in the future. Try and nip it in the bud as early on as you can. Whilst we're talking about pricing, to compete in the export market, it's important to understand your numbers. Finance sometimes is an area where we may not always be comfortable in. And there's a great book by Karen Berman. She's got a book out called Financial Intelligence for Entrepreneurs. I have found that to be very helpful. And it would just give you more of an idea of a realistic idea of when you're exporting, what sort of prices you have, what are your flexibilities. Customer service. Some may say that this is no longer relevant and people just want the best deal, they want the lowest cost. I find that through many people that I've spoken to, consumers are still very hungry for trust. If they can trust you, they can trust your product, they can rely on your brand, it will work out. They will come back to you, and being thorough with what you are doing, you have the consistency, you're more likely to have the repeat custom. And that is the aim when you're exporting, is to have that repeat custom. Tremendous opportunity or misfortunate setback. So again, I feel it is very important to emphasize on the finance side of business when you're deciding to export. Take calculated risks. Don't take risks that aren't calculated. I always try and emphasize this as much as I can. Weigh out your pros and cons and have that vision. You know, when sometimes you're just not sure if the numbers are working, or you got information coming from all different directions. If you have that vision and you've done your research, then sometimes you just need to just make that decision and take the step forward. Staff, if your business at the moment is fortunate enough to hire people, be sure to look after them. They will work very hard for you, you know, and not only does it strengthen the economy, if they are treated well, they're fully committed on board. You know, good staff are hard to find. I think most of all, to enjoy enjoy the journey. It's not always about the destination. Enjoy the whole export, the having your business and thinking about branching out, growing your brand, developing it. Be passionate about it, because more often your vision is what's going to keep you going. You know, when you're having an off day, an off week, an off client, something hasn't worked out how you've planned. If you have that vision and you've done, and you know that you've done the best that you can do, you know, you'll be able to look back and know what's happened for a reason, and you'll learn from it. So I like to end with a quote by Mark Twain. 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. That's it.